Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed Qabil and I'm making a roguelite city management game, inspired by the likes of Against the Storm and Micro Civilizations in Godot Engine 4. So far, I've been setting up for this week. Everything has been in preparation to finally start working on my game, to finally open up the engine itself. If you want to know why I didn't jump headfirst into the engine, I recommend watching my previous devlog where I cover the #1 hurdle for game projects and how I intend to overcome it. The first thing I did this week was the most important and essential component of any game: localization. It was the first thing I was worrying about. You see, when I was making a localization system for Unity, previously in my day job, it was an absolute torture, especially since I needed to do it for Arabic. The issue for those unfamiliar is that while English is written left to right, Arabic is actually written right to left. Also, it doesn't use any similar letters. Unlike most, European languages, which have a similar Latin base, Arabic is completely different and has absolutely nothing in common. Arabic letters are unique, and therefore whenever I'm using or working with a font, I need to make sure that that font supports the Arabic characters, as well as Latin-based characters in case I want to switch between them. As an Arab, I really wanted to have Arabic in my game, and it wasn't something I was really willing to part away with. And since it was so painful to work on with Unity, I planned out my entire week just for this one task. I will get localization done, I'll have it ready before I start working on anything else in my game. It took me less than a day. That was my first time using Godot. I had over 6 years of experience with Unity. By the time that issue popped up with localization, I had around 4 years of experience. And even then, it was just a huge hassle. Meanwhile, in Godot, just opening out of the box, I was blown away. Not only does the default font support Arabic characters, unlike Unity, not to mention that there's only one system for UI, unlike Unity, Godot, also out of the box, actually aligns the UI to the right when I switch the language. This is something that Unity did not do, at least to my knowledge, and I had to do myself, and it was an absolute hassle having to go through the entire scene, figure out what UI components were aligned to the left, and then have them aligned to the right. And for context, in English, we expect the close button and stuff like that to be on the top right. Meanwhile, in Arabic, typically Arab speakers expect it to be on the left. So all I had to do was align my UI in Godot to the left, and Godot automatically pushes it to the right alignment when I switch the text. Absolutely amazing. Not to mention, the #1 biggest surprise for me was that there's already a system that handles switching the languages. When I was working with Unity, I had to create my own system that switched the language for every text box and had to fetch it from, I believe it was a key system similar to a dictionary. Meanwhile, here, it just does it, out of the box. You need to generate a CSV. Basically, you have a column for key, column for English, and a column for Arabic. I then define the languages that I want to use in Godot, and voila, it just works. And all I have to do is within the text box in Godot, write the key as opposed to the words themselves. You can also use this in script. However, so far I haven't needed to use that. I will probably need to in the future, but it also seems fairly straightforward. So with all that time saved, it was now time to do something else. Super vital and super essential for my game, as you would expect at this point. The next few steps were also fairly straightforward, thankfully. I added a basic main menu and a scene manager for this menu to actually do something. Speaking of actually doing something, you can actually join my Discord and mailing list to be updated about my big milestones in my game. The next announcement that I'm working on currently is having a Steam page ready for you to wishlist the game. So if the game sounds interesting, you want to play a roguelite city builder, I highly suggest that you follow my progress from the links in the description. Since I'm making a commercial game and not just a game jam game, I actually spent a whole day trying to make the system modular, defining a utility that makes me take in a packed scene, and I want to go there automatically. It just calls the scene manager whenever I click the button and changes everything. It also has a loading screen, which I have not seen a single time, and that's because it just loads way too quickly. Maybe later on, once I have a lot of assets getting loaded in and stuff coming in from the memory, then it'll probably actually show me the loading screen. But for now, I just click, I'm there, I'm done. It's good, it works. I then moved on to work on the audio manager, and honestly the thing that took the most time for me was just finding the sounds. I searched all over and found some okay placeholders for me on freesounds.org and OpenGameArt. I recommend both of them very highly if you're searching for any sound assets, as well as for OpenGameArt art assets as well. So the manager I made was actually pretty easy to set up. I just had to define an audio bus for the sound effects and another audio bus for the music, and that came in pretty handy when I had to work on the settings menu. And it was actually also easy to set up, thankfully. I had these sliders to control the music and SFX volume, and that's actually doable since within the audio manager I defined both of them separately. Each of them was controlling a different bus on the audio system, because I do want to have like ambient sound in the background for seagulls or waves hitting the shore and stuff like that. So mixing them will happen at some point, and that's why the audio manager is there and basically ready. And then the next feature I worked on, which I'm pretty happy about, is that it's persistent. So if I change these sliders around, change the language, and I also added the option to change the resolution for now. These are just placeholder resolutions to try it out. And then I close the game. As you can see, the settings are exactly where I left it. So this was actually pretty cool to implement. It uses something called player preferences in Godot. So I didn't have to implement like a full save load system yet. It just saves this basic text file, I believe, somewhere. It just loads from it and saves to it. So on my final day of working, enough programming, we spent enough time on that this week. So I started to work on some art, and I have a confession to make. All the pretty pixel art that I've been using is all AI generated. I just use it for inspiration and to create my mood board. I don't intend to put it in my game. The legality is a bit everywhere, and I guess not everyone is okay with AI generated art. Some people have their own beliefs on the topic. It's pretty controversial, and I don't really care to delve too deep into it. I use it for brainstorming. It's pretty cool to generate ideas and have concepts that are exactly what I want, as opposed to Googling and maybe finding an image that fits what I want to have or what I'm imagining. And when it comes to time to actually generate the assets, I will be making them myself. In the future, I do intend to maybe cooperate with artists, but for now, this is a very close project to me, and I do want to make everything myself, except the audio. That I don't enjoy working on sounds. But when it comes to art, however, even though I am a programmer, back a million years ago in 2013, I actually wanted to study applied arts at university, but I decided to go to media engineering instead. And since then, I haven't really been drawing, so I may or may not have lost the limited art skills I had. But I'm certain that over the next few weeks, I can actually make something that looks better than this programmer art. But yeah, this is the first draft I made. It's just inspired by the pixel art or trying to create the city. And I made this basic, simple system of detecting whether or not my mouse cursor is in a district or not, using the tile map system. And the tile map system in Godot is pretty cool. This is footage from like the first week of working on it. I'm a bit more farther down the line now, and I can say tile map in Godot is amazing. But yeah, whether or not I improve upon this, there's only one way for you to find out, and that is to subscribe and watch my upcoming devlogs. And until then, thank you for watching.